first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. We are live streaming on our website, KPTV.com, and of course on the Fox 12 Oregon app. I recommend downloading that for whatever platform you are on. You can watch all the Fox 12 Now segments live and afterward, and of course everything else we have going here at Fox 12 Oregon. Today, we're going to be talking about this. Certainly, as you all know, we are entering into wildfire season. Actually, we've been in wildfire season. Wildfires are happening, and one of the things we are accustomed to now here in the Northwest is learning how to deal with smoke, especially when it's getting into your house. And that's what we're going to discuss today with none other than Eric Goranson from Around the House Northwest. Eric, always here every week with us to give us some great tips and advice on so many different things, but this is one everybody can relate to, unfortunately. And since we're just, it's early July, but I think we're already starting and going here throughout the summer. This is something we all can pay attention to.
Yeah, and thanks, man. It's tough because we look at it and go, okay, if it's happening in early July, we got a few more months of this, and it looks like it's going to be a rough go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think there's going to be some more things happening with that we could definitely be seeing, occur. So, looking at it for advice. What are some different steps and things that people can take to try to, mitigate some of those risks that happen with that?
First off, pay attention to the weather, see what's going on. On these smokiest days that we have, there are some basic things you can do to really try to keep that outside. And it doesn't matter if you've got an old house or an apartment or a condo. There's some tricks and tips I got here for you today that'll make it just a little bit easier. And, sometimes during the day, you'll go, wow, it's the smokiest part of the day. It's crazy out there. That is the time that you probably don't want to run your dryer or a lot of your bath fans and things like that. Because if you think about it, if you have a dryer that's putting out maybe 120 CFM of air as it's drying your clothes, that's also bringing in 120 CFM from outside. So that's dragging that smoky air in to replace the air that you've pushed out.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a very good point. So something that I didn't even think about. You just think about it. Oh, no, it's pushing all that air out. No, that's bringing something in too. And all right. So avoid doing that during those peak times of day when you see all that smoke out there.
If you think about a CFM, a cubic feet per minute, so that's a basketball of air per minute is 1 CFM. So that's 120 basketballs a minute that you have air coming in. So if you're grabbing it out of whether it's your crawl space or coming around the leaks around the doors and windows, you're still getting smoky air. So that's an easy one right there. So try to keep that air within the residence. Another thing right now, when it's not too bad outside, is to go around and make sure that you've got all around the windows and doors caulked up. Make sure that you've got those drafts taken care of. And if you need to do any, in the daytime, turn the lights off in the house, pull the blinds, see if you've got any cracks around the doors and stuff. Because if you've got a good sized crack around the door where maybe the sill isn't adjusted or you need a little bit of weather stripping, that can be like having a window cracked open, a few inches. So that can be a ton of air that's swapping out. Again, every time that you turn on the bath fan or turn on the range hood or, again, start that washer or dryer.
And that's probably not a super expensive thing to fix, I wouldn't think.
No, sometimes it's just a screwdriver and adjusting the bottom sill of the door if it's got an adjustable sill. Caulking is, $5-10 a tube. It's not too bad. Or, so that's all easy stuff you can do. But many people, though, are in apartments or they've got condos or maybe they just have a window air conditioner. They don't have like a central heat and air type situation to help filter that. One of my favorite tricks is to go get one of those flat box fans, right? Mm-hmm. And then run down to your home improvement store and get some of these type of filters, right? So just grab some of these, the same size as the box fan, and make a box around the one air intake side of that. So you'll have, two sides, a top and a back around that. And then you can set that up, and then you're going to pull the air through the filters and push it back out. This is kind of a DIY home air cleaner by putting this over the back of the fan. You can't really just put one on there because it'll probably burn the fan up. So you want to create a little more air intake. So you'll need probably, 5 of these filters so you can make a box with one side open that goes up the back side of the fan.
Okay, so you put it on the back side where it's pulling that air in.
Pulling that air in, so that way you're filtering, it's pulling through that, and if you've got 5 of those filters basically there, you're good to go. And that'll get really, and you could go a long time with those 5 filters, and then you're going to be filtering that stuff out. So the the better the filter you get on that, the more it's going to take out of there. So if you buy the really cheap ones, like the $2 filters, they're not going to do a lot. But if you start getting up into there's a couple different filter rating systems, whether you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. But when you get into the higher numbers, those are the ones that take out the allergens and the smoke. That's going to help you just filter your air without having to have a central heat and air system.
Okay, good to know. So, and also something to think about now, because I remember a few years ago, everybody was running out of those filters too as they were trying to do it. So maybe pick some up so you have it ready to go.
Yeah, jump on online if you can, if they're out of it. But, jump online, grab them if you have to. Order a box of 6 or something so you have them. And then, of course, if you do have central heat and air and you have a filter on there, make sure you change that and have a spare backup, because for some people that had just those 1-inch filters like I was showing there, I know people that were changing those about every 2 weeks because of the smoke getting in their house. So you can go through those things pretty quickly when the air gets really bad, when we start showing up on the national news with our bad air quality.
Yep, which could happen. So hope it doesn't, but yeah, it definitely could happen.
It doesn't, but every couple of years it seems that we're good for that around here.
Yep. Okay, so this is some great tips right there, and again, things to think about now. We're already kind of in the season now, so things to think about. What else? Any other advice that you'd have for that?
Be real careful. Sometimes in your homes too, that you'll have the cars coming in and out of the garage and stuff like that. If the garage is attached, I'd probably just leave the cars outside, because anytime that you open that garage door up and you're letting the cars come in and out, you're bringing extra pollutants in anyway, and you're just going to introduce that smoke back in there. So if you can keep the cars out in the driveway for those worst nights, probably get less of it in the house. And the other good trick too is when you walk in the door with all this smoke and soot, when we get into those really bad days, keep the shoes and maybe the clothes by the door. So that way you're not tracking that in and getting in your carpets or flooring. So when you're getting all that stuff has to go in at some place when it falls out of the air. We're walking through it all day. If we can keep it towards the front of the house by the front door, the better off you are. And the less you'll have coming around is dust inside the house.
Good point. So get in, leave all that stuff right there and don't track it everywhere around the house. Yeah. Well, this is all great advice. Anything else, or should we talk about this?
Yeah, one more. If you've got a brand new house, there's something that they put in homes and that's required in new construction. And those are like a energy recovery ventilator. So what they're doing is they're bringing in fresh air into the house. There's usually a little filter that goes with that, and it's exchanging the air out because the house is so sealed up. So if you've had something built in the last 3 or 4 years in the Pacific Northwest, many times that was required and was installed into your house. So 1, there's a filter in that. And 2, if it's really bad air outside, unless you've got a brand new one that's got some smart tech in it, I'd probably turn that off for a few days and just set a reminder on your phone in a couple days, like an appointment. Hey, I better turn this back on again, because I promise you'll forget after you turn it off. But you don't need to be bringing that air in when the air outside is worse than what's inside. So if you've got one of those energy recovery ventilators or something that's to bring fresh air in, you might just want to disable that for a couple of days during that time when it's really bad, and then just have extra filters, because that's going to be bringing that air in as well. And the filters are hopefully going to take care of that for you. They get clogged up quick.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you. Great advice there for everybody. So feel free to share this segment too for anybody else who needs to know this. And if you live in the Northwest, you need to know this stuff. So yeah, thanks for the advice. Let's talk about this week's episode of Around the House Northwest.
Man, we got a fun one coming up. I've got a great interview with one of the biggest guys in home improvement on YouTube out there and Instagram, the Idaho Painter. He's out of Boise, and he's a good friend of mine. We're going to talk exterior painting and caulking tips. So if you're going to be painting your house or doing an outside paint project, he's the guy that trains the painters out there, and he gives classes and stuff to paint crews. So he's kind of the expert. If you want to know the tips and tricks, he's got it dialed in. So we've got a great conversation with that. And then I've got another one here too that's going to be super fun. There's a brand new smart lock out there that literally you can walk up to your house. If you want to program it this way, you could have it where it senses your phone. It'll automatically unlock the door as you're coming up to it. You can click it, you can open it with your phone. You can use the keypad on it with like an 8-digit code that's super secure. You can use a regular key if you're just an old-fashioned key person. But really cool, really easy, and you can order on Amazon, so it's not too expensive, and goes right into your smart home system. So it's a brand new lock system by Acora that's really trick.
Cool. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in checking that out and getting a new smart lock. Anything else that you want to share, or should people?
A couple more more things. I'll give some tips on how to create your own French drain system. So if you've got that boggy part of your lawn where it's just never dries out, I've got a way to dry that out. And or even a basement if you're going to try to tackle that yourself, which is a big DIY project. And then I give my tips and tricks on how to refinish hardwood floors if you want to tackle it. But for someone who's done those I've done mine a couple times. I probably won't do it again. It's a massive project, but I'll show you how to do it right.
There we go. So if you decide to undertake that, then you can check out this week's episode and get that advice. And we should let everybody know, unless you've got something else you want to share. I mean, that's already a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit right there. And we've got so much more from questions from our audience as well. So we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Lots of stuff to check out. And let's let everybody know when, where, and how they can watch Around the House Northwest.
Yeah, you got it. If you missed last week's show, don't worry. You can catch it Friday morning, of course, 8 a.m. Fox 12 Plus, and the brand new show we were just talking about, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus, and it will replay at 6 p.m. on Sunday as well on Fox 12 Plus.
So there we go. All places to check it out. Eric, thank you as always, for being here. And seriously, this wildfire smoke advice is really good for everybody out there to know. Think about it now because it's going to happen. And that way we can make sure that, you're keeping your house as safe as possible, or at least as smoke-free as possible. And if you're enjoying the show, don't forget to share it. Like I mentioned, you can watch us on KPTV.com under the Fox 12 Now tab or on the Fox 12 Oregon app. And you can watch all the Around the House segments as well there and on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel. So plenty of places to see all of it. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.